Hello again, everyone. This is Steve Callis speaking of sports, and I'm here with Anthony Sorbellini, our Iona College grad student intern, and we're both going to talk about the new rule from the NCAA where they agreed to give an extra year of eligibility to spring sports seniors, not winter seniors. We'll talk about that at another time. But for this, we just want to talk about the seniors who might be coming back, college seniors who might be returning, and also the high school seniors who are becoming freshmen at these institutions throughout the country. Now, one of the interesting things to me is just because you had for example, half scholarship this year to play baseball or softball or lacrosse, that doesn't mean you're going to get your half scholarship next year. Uh, it's going to be left up to the individual schools according to the NCAA ruling. So, Anthony, give me your first thoughts now. If there's a senior at your school who's a baseball player, a softball player, a lacrosse player, they get a partial scholarship, let's say a half scholarship.
Right.
It's not clear right now what they're going to get. So, what do you think? How is that going to affect people who are in the position of a senior in college who's going to maybe be a super senior, as I call it, in 2021?
Well, I mean, the main thing you definitely have to look at, I'm just trying to look at it through my perspective. If I was going through this, is, you're already transitioning once you're a senior, you're building up, like, unless you're getting looked at by scouts and everything, you pretty much know that, yes, your playing career is over. So you're starting to plan, build for life after school, after whatever sport you're playing. So, and especially now being, halfway through the spring semester, even if sports were playing, these seniors are still trying to, whether they be applying for master's programs, PhD programs, stuff like that, or just moving into their careers, how much that's going to be solidified. And then say you do get an offer for a job and then you want to accept, but then this finds out that, this game that I've been playing my entire life, I could start playing again. Now, what do I do?
So that's pretty interesting. And I assume scholarship money would be part of that decision. But you're right, you raise a good point. If someone's, I don't know, going to med school or going to grad school or already has a job with an excellent corporation, do they want to put all that off a year? And will their employers let them put all that off a year to come back and play? And again, the examples we're using are baseball, softball, and lacrosse. But it
Mm-hmm.
would seem to me, given the cost of a college education today, that part of the scholarship money would be very key to my decision personally, because most of these people, you take out student loans, you get a partial scholarship, you might still have to work to pay the difference. Room and board is another big number. If you're going to play a sport, you usually have to live on the campus because you don't really commute and play a sport. As I've said
Right.
many times, a college sport is like another job. It really is a job,
It is.
and
It's a full time commitment.
right, and you already have your schoolwork that you have to do to graduate. So just give me your sense then. So people in that position that you've already talked about, they have a number of different things to consider. But is one of the things the senior in college who will be a super senior is one of the things they have to consider who's coming in next year, who are the freshmen who are going to be coming in from high school, and
Hmm.
do they somehow affect your position on the team? Wouldn't that be a factor as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a factor, but if I'm looking at it, I mean, it's just the way I am. I go out, I want to compete, I want to be the best at everything, but it's just a matter of also, you have to think that the coaching staff is going to, this guy has been on the squad for 4 years. We know what he's doing, to where do I really want to give an incoming freshman, 18, 19 years old? Do I want to throw them in there no matter how good they are? They could be the next coming of Babe Ruth for all we know. But yes, it's the next level, and even if they crushed it in high school, which they most likely have if they're getting Division 1 offers,
Right.
Division 1 is a completely, completely, completely different game. So
Okay.
I'm not really paying attention too much as to who's incoming, but I'm looking more as to life outside of the game, and like you alluded to, Steve, is how much loans am I gonna have to take out? I went into my freshman year at college thinking that I have a quarter of a scholarship. I have to take out whatever it may be, like $20,000 worth of loans for each year. So then at the end of 4 years, I'm 60 grand in debt, which is more manageable. Do I really want to have $80,000 in debt by the time I'm done? Or and that's not even counting the fact that if the scholarship will still even be there, if they even want to give it to me, if I wanted to come back.
Correct. Okay, now let's flip it and take it, if we can, from the senior in high school's perspective. Now, this is a person who must have been good, really good at either baseball or softball or lacrosse, obviously, probably the major spring sports, and they're good enough to come to a Division I school. They're probably getting some scholarship money, but this isn't basketball or football, so there's
Right.
not full scholarships there. And don't they now have to reconsider? Don't they have to take a look and say, oh man, they had 7 seniors on that team, and I know I was going to replace one. I was going to be the second baseman or the left fielder in softball or the goalie in lacrosse or whatever the position in sport. Don't they now also have a different set of decisions, frankly, to make, to look at, to see what they're going to be doing next year? Because they're going to be up maybe, or they have to at least find out if they're going to be up against a super senior.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. I mean, if I'm an incoming college freshman, I'm looking at, I want to go out there and play. I really don't want to go ride the bench and quote unquote do an Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. I don't really want to learn. I want to go out there and see why they gave like I'm a Division I athlete. I want to go out there. I want to compete. And where I would see yes, you could learn while sitting on the bench and by from this quote unquote super seniors. I've always been an advocate for you learn by doing, you learn by making mistakes. So there's no better aspect to actually, out there going there playing, whether it only just be like half a game, whatever. But still, if I'm, a touted freshman incoming to college and I see that the guy that I'm basically recruited for to replace, if I see he's still there, I'm definitely throwing a red flag up. I might even, depending on where I had any other offers, if I do have offers, or I may go look around, or I would even possibly entertain the fact of going to a junior college for a year.
Actually, that strikes me now as an interesting possibility for these young kids, because at a junior college, as you know, generally speaking, they'll walk in and they'll play. There's a lot of good ball players in junior college, but it's not a 4-year D1 school,
Right.
as you know. So I think more so than ever before, to me, the incoming freshman, the senior in high school, who, by the way, isn't going to class now, and I think, if not 100% of the country, probably at least 90 or 95% of
Well,
the
the thing
country.
is that's Steve. Sorry to cut you off there, but the thing that's interesting about like the aspect of super seniors is they're going to be basically graduated, and according to the NCAA's website, you have to be enrolled in 6 credits. So what are you going to do?
Well, that's a good point as well, and
So
I think part of that was, and we see that often in college football, where you see the guys have transferred to another school, but they've enrolled in graduate school, as you've alluded to, and they've taken whatever that low course number, 9 credits or 6, whatever it is, to play that extra year. Um, so I think my concern for seniors in high school, and look, they're young kids coming into a man's game. I understand a lot of them are excellent and really talented and anxious to play, but they're going to have to do more homework right now. And it's going to be hard to do homework now. There's nobody playing. It's probably hard to get a hold of coaches. But you have to make the best decision for you. And I think in the high school seniors case, the parent really has to step in and help as well.
mhm.
Or they have to be able to speak to someone. Their summer league coach, if they're really good baseball players, for example, um, to see what is best in their best interest. You raise a good point with the junior college. I don't know if you can trust a college baseball lacrosse coach to say, "Oh yeah, come on over anyway. Don't worry, you'll get your playing time. Don't worry about that guy." But
Mhm.
if that guy plays your position, and that guy was an All ACC lacrosse player, I'm just picking something
Exactly.
up.
I'm gonna be worried about it.
Exactly. So I think these lead to many differing decisions on both ends of the spectrum. For the potential super senior, a lot of that is financial. A lot of it is, as you said, I've kind of already got my life planned out for me. Maybe I have a job. Maybe I got into a great grad school. Maybe I want to go to med school. Whatever the thing is, you have to consider that. But I think for the younger kids, the seniors in high school, for them starting out essentially on their college career, I think they have even more difficult decisions to make. Any final words on either group, Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you right there, Steve. I do. I definitely think the high school seniors, the incoming freshmen, they're gonna be more because a lot of the guys, the reason I don't want to say it's just the reason that they're getting recruited, but they're getting recruited because they're good ball players. But for the fact too is that they're getting looked at to be the next 4-year replacement for junior seniors who was leaving. So they're coming in, they want to get their action now to prove that like, hey, like I am the guy, I am the person moving forward for that, for the next 3 to 4 years for the program. So I really wouldn't be surprised if you start hearing stories or even, just start talking to high school seniors where they're gonna say, you know, I was gonna go to I'm just pulling a school out of here. I was gonna go to like UConn or something. I was going to go play there, but their star-studded shortstop's coming back, and I was going to be replacing him. Now I might entertain, see if I can get another offer for another school, or even no other school is coming knocking. If I was getting looked at by UConn as a senior in high school, why don't I just go to a junior college for a year and even find even possibly a bigger school?
Very good points. Uh, Obviously, a lot to consider. We'll keep following this down the road. Obviously, this was just passed this past week. So we'll just have to see what happens. This is Steve Callis with Anthony Sorbellini, speaking of sports. We'll see you the next time.